Every generation has its scientific high priest, its scientific communicator. Ever since I can remember, I've been interested in science. I liked watching shows on the Discovery Channel and PBS when I was a little kid. Probably my favorite spokesman was Carl Sagan. I'm going to try to condense as much about his life as I can in a 5 to 7 minute speech. Carl Edward Sagan was born November 9th, 1934 in Brooklyn, New York, to Sam and Rachel Sagan. Carl grew up in modest spaces. He lived in a small apartment when he was a little kid. And when he was older, they moved to a small house near the Atlantic Ocean. His father was a Russian Jewish immigrant garment worker, and his mother was a Jewish housewife. From a young age, Carl showed a great deal of interest in science. By age 9, he was considered by his family to be an amateur astronomer. He was really happy when he found out from his grandfather that you could get paid for it. According to H.W. Wilson, Sagan's passion was encouraged by his parents, even though they knew almost nothing about science. Carl said that he got his keen intellect from his mother, and he said he got his quiet sense of awe from his father. Carl was a brilliant student. He graduated from Rahway High School in New Jersey. He was voted most likely to succeed. In 1956, he received a bachelor's degree with special honors in art, and he received a master's degree in science and physics from the University of Chicago. By 1960, Carl had received his PhD in astronomy and astrophysics. He was first married in 1957 to biologist Lynn Margulis. They had 2 children together, Dorian and Jeremy Sagan. During his time as an undergraduate, he worked in the laboratory of geneticist H.J. Muller, and he wrote his thesis on the origin of life. He worked with physical chemist H.C. Urey. During the summer months of his graduate studies, he worked with planetary scientist Gerard Cooper, his thesis advisor, and physicist George Gamow, chemist Melvin Kalvik. And from 1960 to 1962, he was a Miller Fellow at the University of California. And that is not really an exhaustive list of what he did in college, but that just shows you how prolific he was. Carl's career after school was amazing. In 1968, he had his second marriage to artist Linda Salzman, and they had a son, Nick Sagan. During this period of his life, he either held a position teaching or a research position at the University of California, Berkeley, Harvard, the Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory, and Stanford University. He became a full professor at Cornell in 1971 and directed the Laboratory for Planetary Studies. From 1972 to 81, he was the associate director for the Center of Radiophysics and Space Research at Cornell. He was also an advisor to NASA. He briefed the astronauts before they went to the moon. He came up with an idea to put a plaque representing humanity on the Pioneer 10 spacecraft, which is the furthest object from Earth. And it tells, so if any aliens find it, they'll know where we are and they'll know what we look like. Carl's science career was impressive, but his entertainer career was even more impressive. He appeared several times on the Johnny Carson show, who made him even more famous by satirizing his emphasis on the use of the word billions. As Tom McDowell recalls, he spoke with great eloquence as he interwove astronomy with physics, chemistry with biology. His enthusiasm was contagious as he described the possibilities of life elsewhere in the universe. The cosmos dealt with subjects such as evolution, our place in the universe, and it's been seen by over 400 million people worldwide. Carl has authored over 600 separate works, including Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time. Carl even wrote a novel that became the basis for the movie Contact. Sagan's last marriage was to author Anne Dryan. They had 2 kids together, Alexandra and Samuel Sagan. After he died on December 20th, 96, from complications from pneumonia, after a year-long battle with myelodysplasia, which is a bone marrow disease, that was, well, after he died, he died being married to author Anne Dryan. Okay, so I told you a little bit about his childhood, his education and career. But what was most important to Carl was scientific literacy in the public. He worked tirelessly so that people would understand as much about science as they possibly could, and it probably cost him, his first 2 marriages because he worked so hard for it. And that's what's probably most special to me. He got me into science, and that's what I love about it. Thank you.